What's good, everybody? Welcome into the newest episode of your fastest growing sports and wrestling brand in the world, courtesy of Sportskeeda.com. I am the coach. My partner, as always, from Russo'sBrand.com, Vince Russo. This is the Coach and Bro Show. Vince, how are you today, sir? Thursday, week 9, busy week in pro wrestling. Let's go.
I am doing good, Coach. I got to tell you, man, the first thing I did when I woke up this morning, Coach, I don't know about you. First thing I did, Coach,
What's that?
I made sure I covered first base. That was I rolled out of bed. I said, where's first base? I'm covering that base, and I'm all good, Coach.
Oh, man, that had, as a baseball aficionado, that had to drive you insane. Garrett Cole, Cy Young Award winner, all over the world. Everybody's watching the World Series. But isn't it funny, Vince, how one play, and I know there's a couple other errors in that inning, one play can lead to the floodgates opening up, because if he would have made that play, it's still 5-0. And that made it 5-1. Then 2 more hits. Now we're tied up at 5. And then you almost felt like it was the Dodgers' destiny. But how do you live with that if you're Garrett Cole, who said afterwards, I mean, all these quotes were heartbreaking. Aaron Boone said, I am heartbroken. This is devastating. How do you come back from a loss like that in the World Series?
Yeah, Coach, that's the thing. That's what I love about baseball. When playoffs come, and now we've got the elite teams at the end of the year. Coach, you can't make any mistakes. The team that plays perfect baseball in the playoffs is going to win. And it just goes to show you, a mistake like that costing 5 runs, bro, may cost Aaron Boone his job.
Hardcore. You guys know what you're like. You want everything. You want greatness. We're hearing fans say, trade Aaron Judge to your San Francisco. He's the captain. He's hit literally 120 home runs and you want to trade him?
Yeah.
Because he had a bad. Now, with that being said, if you're one of the greats like a Michael Jordan or a Kobe or I'm trying to think of a baseball great, you're known by how you do in the biggest moments. And right now, Aaron Judge has got to be telling himself, yeah, I'm one of the greats, but am I one of the greatest of all time if I can't perform in the World Series?
Yeah, that's always how the Mad Dog measures Hall of Famers. He always looks at that postseason record. You got to deliver in the postseason. If you're a Hall of Famer and you are an MVP, you've got to deliver. But, Coach, what did we say on yesterday's show? Because it was starting to happen. He was starting to wake up. He did hit another homer last night, but it's no game 6, man.
I really feel like if they would have won that game on Wednesday, that they would have gone back and all the pressure now shifts over to the Dodgers. So I think the Dodgers got a break. The over came in, which set on 8.5. And I questioned having Garrett Cole and Jack Flaherty, and the over was still at 8.5.
Yeah.
But it proved to be the right call. So congratulations to the Dodgers. The other big story that came out of this, and we were talking about it on our betting show, is the Juan Soto Olympics. And I never thought we would see a $700 million contract. But we're talking about, do you know what his number is at a lot of sports books? The over-under on the amount of the contract that Juan Soto, in all likelihood, will sign. Do you know the number?
I do not.
Take a guess. In dollars.
Just dollars. I don't got to give you the years.
You don't have to give me the years. Just dollars.
800 million.
That would be something. No, it's 600.5. So it's 600 million and 500,000 is the number you can bet over, or you can bet under that number. I would assume that would have to be for 10 years.
I mean, well, what Shohei got? What, 700 million
for 10 years? He got 70 million a year. He deferred 680 million of that. So he's only making 2 million a year. Then he'll get the 680 on the back end when he's done playing. Kind of brilliant. And it also speaks to how much he makes in endorsements from Japan. He's making probably $100 million a year, just like Hideki Matsuyama. But Juan Soto, and he said after the game last night, he said, I'm open to all comers. He said, any team that calls, we will listen. Can you imagine Vince being in a position like that in life?
You know, Coach, I got to tell you, it may even go higher than that, because I know I know the Giants, for instance, who have, a lot of money to spend. Coach, they've learned their lesson by losing out on players by matching offers. So I think there are going to be some teams that come in above and beyond what the offers are going to be.
They got to blow them away. They
Yeah,
they got to tell Juan
exactly.
Soto, not only do
Exactly.
we want
Yeah.
you way more than the
Yes.
Yankees do.
Yes.
It is the number for you can bet on whether or not he'll be with the Yankees or not, and it's minus 400 that he will be. So if you say no is minus 400. I think yes is plus 2. One of those. I know I don't have it right, but if the Yankees want to keep him after all of the negativity surrounding Judge, and then Chisholm was all over Twitter saying, "Hey, you fans are terrible." If you're Juan Soto, do you even want to stay in New York if they can turn on you if you have a bad World Series like that?
Yeah. Man, I think, Coach, I could be totally wrong, but let's face it. Is it not just going to come down to highest bidder?
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
like,
I would be sitting back right now if I'm as much as I'm pissed off that I lose the World Series. Let's be honest, Vince.
yeah,
After a big event, you sit back the next day and you're all good. You're
yeah,
all good. So he's like,
yeah.
can you imagine sitting back going, no matter what I do, as long as I just don't break the law, I'm going to sign a deal for $600+ million, whatever that number. I mean, that's just there.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. Certain lives are better than others.
Yeah,
They just are.
yeah,
They
yeah.
just are.
Unbelievable.
So we've got to stay in New York, Vince, because tonight is Thursday Night Football, depending on when people are watching this particular show. And before we even talk about the number, Vince, this is not hype, one of the hottest NFL handicappers in the world today.
Yeah,
In the
yes.
world today.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear, Coach.
You were
Yes.
5-1. Last Thursday, you said, Coach, I think the Rams get it done on the field against the hard-hitting 5-1 Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Not only did they get it done on the field, they got it done by 10 points on the field.
Yes.
So you're a soothsayer right now. Right now, you're red hot. So tonight,
Thank you, Coach.
you're very welcome.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy though.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time I saw a 2-6 team be favored over a 6-2 team, and that's what we have tonight. What do you think that is,
Coach? To the point of, listen, I know, Coach, I did my research.
I know you always.
I know Diggs, Collins out. But the fact that the Jets are favored in this game, I keep saying to myself, Coach, I'm missing something. I've got to be missing something here. So I'm not touching the spread, the money line at all. Here's what I'm banking on. Here's
Okay.
what I'm banking on. I am banking on it's a short week, the under 42.5 points.
Smart.
That's
Smart.
what I'm banking on. And do you know, Coach, a couple things, though, let people, two interesting things. Jets 0-5 against the spread this year. 0-5. Titans 5-1 in one-score games. 5-1 winning games by one score.
So the Texans are 5-1 in one-score games, just like last week. They beat the Colts 23-20.
Yes.
All right, those are very good nuggets from you. You're doing a lot of work. You're going above and beyond these days.
But I'm missing something. I mean, because I still believe Aaron's in the darkness. I don't think he's in the light yet. I'm missing something, Coach.
Well, I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to bring you into the light. By the way, did you see the latest thing that he's into? Cayenne pepper and water is his new thing he's talking about. I'm like, what are we doing? Yeah. You got reporters from New York City tweeting about Aaron Rodgers drinking cayenne pepper and water. And that's like the big story of the day.
And then he's going to have to run off the field, go in the blue tent, and take a crap, bro, in the middle of the game. And then what? Then what, Coach, with the cayenne pepper? All right, Coach, please educate me. What am I missing here, Coach?
All right, so you know my guy, Rafael Esparza.
Yes.
He's my numbers guy. He makes lines for books all over the world.
Yes.
And I said, when you have a line like this, how come all of us, nobody can figure it out? He says, Coach, it's all about evening out the number, because we forget sometimes in the world of betting, Vince, it's about you want $10,000 bet on one side, $10,000 bet on the other, and then the book makes money no matter what, usually 10%. So they make $500 no matter what. So this is about the public who loves to bet on Aaron Rodgers. they love to bet on Aaron Rodgers. So if you were to make the Texans what they should be, which is probably -1 or -2, now you're giving Aaron Rodgers 1 or 2 points. So now you can put the Jets in a teaser and it goes up to 7 or 8 points.
Got
And
you.
that's what, and so they're protecting themselves from the public who loves to bet on big time quarterbacks. And as much as we hate Aaron Rodgers, the public bettors, they do not. They
Got
still
you.
bet on him.
So what's your call here, Coach?
Well, I think it's I'm going to take one more stab at it. And the Jets are, when you look at the pieces available, they are the better team. They have Garrett Wilson, who I believe, if he was in the right spot, would be an all-pro. They have Breece Hall in the right spot, would be an all-pro running back. Now they have Devontae Adams on the other side. He has been an all-pro. So you've got those 4 pieces. But now, Vince, it's kind of like leaning into your superstars at WrestleMania. Are you going to put a backup in the main event? No. So
Yeah.
why are we leaning on backups to try to get us to the main event? So I think tonight you're going to see a lot of targets to all 3 guys I just talked about. If you're going to go down, Vince, in a ball of flames at 2-6, you've got to go 7-2 the rest of the way to even have a chance. 7-2. So why would you not utilize your stars to the best of your ability?
Yeah.
So I think the Jets get it done tonight because the Texans, those 3 guys that you mentioned, they're big time players.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're big time players.
Yeah.
And Tank Dell, as good as he is, they can double team him. So I'm going to take the Jets.
Yeah.
I'm going to lay the 1.5.
I'm going real safe. I'm backing out and just doing the under. Going
Okay,
safe.
that's
I'm
fair.
going safe, Coach.
All right, we will recap our picks always about the 25-minute mark. So coming up in about 12 minutes or so. Then don't forget, you want to switch over to Backstage Pass. That's where you get all of our great wrestling content, including, Vince, a little tease. We're going to be discussing the revelation that our former boss, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, it has leaked out that all of the billions he cashed in on this about 3 months ago, he doesn't want to pay capital gains tax on that. I mean, he's 79 years old. He's got to live for another 60 years. Why would he worry about capital gains taxes?
Right.
Oh, my God. It's the dumbest story ever. But he's thinking about starting a new entertainment company.
Yeah.
And that's going to be our lead story.
And rumor has it you may be on the higher list, Coach. You may be in the top 3 names at the top of that list, Coach. Word on the street, Coach. In New York.
You got the wrong word. It's not that. It's not that word. I was actually reading the article, and some of these names people at home won't. You may not even know them, but Kristen Prouty is a name.
I didn't know those people.
I'll say so. Kristen Prouty was a really nice lady. I met her at the very first Diva Search back in 2002 or 2003. And Christy Hemme was the woman who won the first Diva Search. And she was part of all those issues with everything else going on. And I was the host of the whole thing. I went to every tryout. I hosted it. I hosted the TV specials. And so Kristen Prouty, they ended up hiring her. And I've always been amazed, Vince, haven't you, at certain people who can work the system from the outside and then Vince hires them full time.
Yes.
And they never have to move. She stayed in LA. She was the senior vice president of, I think it was like Hollywood Connections, some ridiculous title.
Yeah.
But she's making 6 figures to basically get a superstar on Family Feud, stuff like that. I kid you not.
Yeah.
That's what she did.
Yeah, we need that gig. We need a gig.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I was on Family Feud once, Vince.
How'd you do?
Well, I got to be honest with you. It was WWE week, and I'm a huge that's one of my bucket list is to host the Family Feud. I always wanted to do that.
That's awesome.
So they had WWE week, and it was guys against the Divas, and so they didn't ask me. Then somebody backed out, and I remember walking into the talent office at TV, and I was like, "Are you kidding me right now? You got Flair, you got Booker T, you had Batista." And you had Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy! Yeah. Those were the 4. And I said, I can't be one of the 5. They said, all right, coach, you can go. And I remember I was still engaged to my now ex-wife. And it was so embarrassing because, Vince, they still run we did a whole week in one day. Like all 5 shows in one day. It's how it's done for those people in the know. And so we had to bring 5 different outfits. So we tape a show, change, tape a show, and change. It was the most embarrassing day of my career, one of them. And they still rerun some of those episodes to this day. Vince, I acted like a child. like a 3 or 4-year-old child.
Yeah.
For example, I remember this one like it was yesterday. So you're up there, Vince, and I'm going against one of the. In fact, I think it was Undertaker's wife, his now wife. It was me and her against each other, and I remember it was the guy from Seinfeld was the host. Remember the white haired guy?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Peterman,
yeah,
Peterman.
Mr. Peterman. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Peterman. So he was the host, and so he goes, "All right, name a reason why your alarm clock wouldn't go off in the morning." And I remember going, or why you would oversleep in the morning. And I said, the alarm clock doesn't go off. And then she says something like, the batteries ran out in your alarm clock. Ding! Like I'm like, wait a second, what are we doing?
Yeah,
And
I'm
you remember,
throwing a flag on
I'm
that, coach.
throwing a flag.
I'm throwing a flag.
And you know how these shows go, let's ask the judges, and they point like there's a whole panel of judges.
Yeah.
There's one lady with a headset in the second row who was the executive producer, and they go, let's check with the judges. And she'd go, and
coach.
so, but in the
Railroading.
second game, so the women win the 20,000 in the first game. So we got to keep like 60% of the money, then the 40% went to charity, and then you had to pay taxes too. So we're playing fast money. And I said, oh, hell with this. I'm the only one that cares about being here. I'm going to play fast money. And so I'm back in the back. I got the headphones on, and me and Mr. Kennedy. So he gets like 152 points, and we need to get to 200. So I'm standing there. I'm a nervous wreck. It's like the most nervous I've ever been.
Yeah.
And so they're reading the questions, and I'm like, blue, red. I'm just blurting out answers, right? I didn't even get to the fifth one. And so we're at 182 with one answer left. And then the bottom one's empty. And I'm like, oh my goodness. They said, all right, coach, you need 18 points to cash for $20,000. Survey says 18. Nailed it exactly. Right on 200. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. We were dancing. We're hugging.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Oh, it was amazing. Great. It was amazing. Yeah. And then it was very clear after that, they weren't giving away any more money. Some of the questions were like, we asked 100 people what their favorite color was. That could be anything.
Yeah,
like literally that, it was like blue, 3 people. It was like, but it was a ton of fun. It was
awesome, man.
Those are the fun things,
Those are the fun things, man. Absolutely, though. I got to my fun thing, coach, believe it or not, was I got to produce and write the entire segment when Goldust was on with Conan. They let me write Conan's
with Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien. They let me write Conan's part. They let me write the whole scene. So that was a big get for me at the time.
That's a big deal. He was a great. I feel like he's one of the guys that how like certain people get pushed out, and you're like, how come that's the guy that got pushed out?
Yeah.
And I feel like he's one of those guys. He still has a pretty big following, but I think it's why I get so bitter at bad people winning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When bad people win, you're like, how come they just continue? It's kind of like Vince cashing in for $6 billion.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really want Vince to win. I hear
that. You want the good guys to win.
Exactly. Give us the $6 billion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right, you're watching the Coach and Bro Show. You get this kind of stuff every single Monday and Thursday. Drops around 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Then you can watch on demand on the YouTube page. Also, if you go over to Backstage Pass, you get all of our WWE Wrestling, AEW, TNA, all of that. You get at Backstage Pass with JBL and Briscoe. I texted with JBL this week, by the way. Yeah, apparently he's got some big things on the horizon. I think he was talking about what he did at Bound of Glory or Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
You see, he came out and clotheslined everybody.
Yeah.
Including the referee or whatever. So I do not want to have it clothesline from hell.
Guess who I got a DM from yesterday?
You got a DM?
Who's in the news? Hot in the news. And I get it. Mr. Irrelevant. Hot in the news, coach.
Wow. Who sent you a DM?
Thanking me, coach.
Rikishi did not send you a text.
No, Rikishi wants me to go to Florida to fight him. And I said, listen, obviously Rikishi's never been in Colorado. Because if you spend 5 minutes in Colorado, you ain't going to Florida for nothing.
Ever.
Ever. Let's be clear about that. All right. Coach, I got a very nice DM from Samantha Irvin.
Stop it.
Yes.
What did she say?
Because I said on a Sportskeeda show, and this is an absolute shoot. If I was a writer and she wanted to go beyond ring announcing, and she aced ring announcing, and she was great at ring announcing, that would tell me she could probably be a great manager or a great GM.
You said that here. That was this show.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
she
this
saw
show.
this show. And she just wrote me and said, "Thank you very much." And I said, "Hey, man, go get it and take it. Don't let nobody tell you no. Coach, you can't let anybody tell you no. Who's going to tell you no?"
I wish I had access to your DMs because I would have told her, "Thank you very much. Now stop with the BS that you're doing on social media. It makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, yeah,
No
yeah,
sense."
yeah. Even
I
though
was I was
I still think it's a work.
we talked about that
Yeah,
on
yeah,
BTT about your angle on that. We use your angles a lot.
yeah.
And if it is, to me, it's a botched angle. It is two people that don't know how to do it using
Yeah.
social media. The
Yeah.
Rock knows how to do it
Oh
on
God.
social. I'm saying
Oh
using
yeah.
social media.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She was reposting accounts that had like 61 followers. And
Yeah.
normally when you have that, it's like the same 61 dudes in their basement that
Yeah,
just
yeah,
follow each other. Like,
yeah,
why are you giving any of this light or attention? That's why I think she's made a huge mistake.
yeah,
But if she's watching, Samantha, love you, girl. Love you, girl.
yeah.
You go get yours. And I actually agreed with you. But the part I didn't agree with is because we spent so much time in this business. And even though I publicly said, "Well, I'll never go back," it was because of Vince. You never want to close the door on a six-figure salary when you're trying to make it in music or on Broadway. Really hard ways to make money.
Yeah,
Why would you completely throw your other career under the bus that she cannot go back to that now? There's no way she can go back to that. Like if Triple H ever brought her back and be, "All right, we're bringing back somebody who didn't like what she was doing."
right. But
Who?
coach, I think you're forgetting one thing.
Please.
You got to take this into consideration, coach. I'm
What am
sorry.
I missing?
You got to take Tony Khan's checkbook into consideration. For all we know, she could have $1 million 3-year deal on the table. For all we know.
Ricochet said she wasn't going to AEW.
That's right. That's why I'm saying. I
You
mean,
think it's a work? Wow.
we'll see. I mean, we'll see, coach.
I would die. I would die to see literally the bottom line. I saw a video. Somebody compared the TNA crowd the other day, completely full, sold out,
Yeah.
to the AEW, wherever the hell they were. And it was like they weren't even selling tickets. You know this, Vince? They're not even selling tickets to half the bowl in the bottom
Man.
until the other side is full. You can't even buy tickets over there.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're struggling to sell tickets.
Yeah. That's hey, he doesn't want any help, coach.
He doesn't. Man,
Yeah.
an endless checkbook. If I didn't care about what anybody said about me, or if I said, Vince, let me take a year off and go to AEW for $800,000 a year, I would probably do that,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest.
But let's be I mean, coach, you and I know the plays and we know the game. Is anybody really going to give this guy genuine good advice? Everybody's looking out for themselves. There is no I was that guy with Dixie, and quite honestly, coach, I got a lot of heat from her for that. I was the
For
guy
what? Oh, being honest with her.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I was the guy
Okay.
smartening her up, and
It's you because you rarely. I think it's because the most asked question I've ever gotten is, "What was it like to be around Vince?" And he's a billionaire. He's this because you rarely ever meet somebody who has that much money.
right.
And when you have an opportunity to take advantage of said person, why would you not?
Right.
And
Yeah,
that's a lot
yeah.
of the guys that got top money that started that out, the Jerichos, the Young Bucks, the Cody Rhodes. Man, I can only imagine how much they were paid at the start.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
And can you imagine you and I walking in and we get to write whatever we want about our storylines? All right, so Coach wins the world heavyweight
Yeah.
title,
Yes.
and I'm making $3 million a year. God
Yeah.
bless. And I don't have to do house shows, and I can
Yeah.
go on my yacht or on my. I mean, it's crazy.
Yes.
None of them have to do house shows.
Yeah. And Tony Khan will come to your birthday party. There you go. Right there. Right there, coach.
On
There it
that
is.
note, we only have a couple more. I love when we get off track. It's my favorite
I
thing
know
about
we
Coach
always
and
get
Bro
off
Show.
track.
We always get off track. All right, so let's do our picks real quick, and then if you guys want more wrestling content, just flip over to Backstage Pass. All right, so I'm on the Jets -1.5. You're on the under. So Cowboys and Falcons. Falcons, it's got up to 3 now. The total 51.5. It's a 1:00 game on Sunday. Where are you headed on this one?
I'm gonna give you a parlay on this one, Coach.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's go.
Coach, I've got perhaps one of the most meaningless little asterisks I'm going to throw past you. I saw this. Here's what I love when I do the research. These professional bettors,
Yes.
they're looking for like every little thing. Like every little thing. I got this today, Coach, and I had to read this 3 times to say, is this really going to influence my bet? You ready, Coach?
Let's do it.
The Dallas Cowboys have covered their past 5 road dome games.
Oh my God. You're going deep.
Dome.
You're going deep.
Coach, what are we supposed to do?
Road dome. That could go back to 1992. Holy smokes.
Yeah,
okay.
I saw that. But here's what I do know. This is what I do know. Falcons, 27th ranked defense. The Cowboys defense stinks. These are both very bad defenses. Prescott has been intercepted multiple times, 3 straight games. That tells me he's due. He's due. I'm going to give you the parlay, Coach.
All right.
I'm taking the Cowboys in the money line, just like I did with the Rams last week.
Okay.
I'm taking the Cowboys in the money line. And bro, the over I had was 52. Where do you say it is now?
Well, it moves all the time. So like an hour before, it constantly moves.
Right.
I'm saying I looked literally as the show started. So you could have it at 52 from an hour ago.
Yeah.
It could be 52 in an hour from now.
Right.
I'm saying that right now it's 51.5.
51. I'm taking the over. These defenses stink. I'm taking the over.
Okay,
That's my
51.5, the over. All right. So you think the Cowboys score a lot? They scored 24 last week against the 49ers. The Falcons have been giving up a lot of points.
Yes.
A lot of points. I love this play.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick just with the over. And even if it goes back to 52, I'm good with it. I also think this is a really good teaser spot if you like to tease things, because you could get the Cowboys at +9 if you chose to do that. But if you are a teaser player, here's a little education. You want to get it on a 0.5 point, because if they do win by 9, that's a loser. Teasers, pushes do not win. So I'm going to take the over 51.5. I think there's a lot of points too.
Yeah.
I think it sails into the 60s as well.
Wow. Okay.
So all right, but you think the Cowboys win on the field?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Falcons laid an egg 2 weeks ago at home against Seattle. So they've had some bad performances. All right, Broncos and the Ravens, 2 5-3 teams. The Ravens giving 9.5 a week after giving 8 in Cleveland and losing on the field, and the total at 46.5. This is your squad. You live there. This is your Broncos.
And I'm the first one to say Bronco fans are obnoxious, Coach. They're obnoxious.
The most obnoxious fans.
They're not even talking about the NBA season starting. They're not even talking about
Oh, my God.
Coach, there's a lot of things in this game that point to Broncos. Can I give them to you, Coach?
A ton, please.
I've done my research. Bo Nix is playing very well.
Much better than expected.
First 4 games, since then, he's been playing very well. Broncos only allow 15 points a game. Number 3 total defense.
Wow.
Okay. Broncos, only one team are harder to score against in the red zone than the Broncos. Only one team.
Who are you now? What are we doing? Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Ravens are giving up the most passing yards. Ravens don't get pressure on the quarterback. Positive Ravens lead in total yardage per game, 452 yards. That's nothing to sneeze at, Coach.
At all.
452 yards again.
Okay.
Second in scoring. 30 points again.
I hear it all. What does this translate into for you?
Broncos, 9 points is too much.
Right?
It's going to be a closer game than that. 9 points is too much, -110.
And the Broncos are a really good road team. They're a really good road team away from them. I think when you have a rookie quarterback, there's less pressure playing on the road in the NFL than there is at home.
Coach, they've had an easy schedule. Like they're 5-3, but they've had an easy schedule. I think the Ravens are going to win the game. I just think 9 points is too much.
This would also be a good teaser spot. So you can get up to 15.5. And I believe in buying points. Some people do not, but you can buy a half a point normally for 15 cents or 20 cents. You could probably get this one at at plus 10.5 for probably minus 130 or minus
Wow.
135.
Wow.
And the three numbers you always want to take a number or a bet through if you're going to buy points 3, 7, 10 to either go through it or come back down through it.
Yeah.
Those are the three most important numbers.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be opposed to buying a full point here if your book and almost all books allow it.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going Broncos. I like the Broncos too. Just part of my gut as I close my eyes, I go, oh man, is this one of those games where Lamar Jackson wakes up? I don't think so. I
Yeah.
think the Broncos are better than what we think. So I'm going to back you, and I'll take the Broncos plus the 9.5. And then the final game, and the game that I think will be the game of the day from the NFC North, two teams that both have 6 wins, 6-1 Lions, 6-2 Packers. Jordan Love had an MRI. We don't know if he's going to play or not. That's why I believe the number's at 3.5 for the Lions on the road. Total's been around 48.5. It's always hard when you don't know if the quarterback's going to play. But how do you see this one?
He's got a groin, right?
Yeah, it's a groin. He didn't even get hit.
Yeah, get an ace band. Just tape that thing up, man. Tape up that sack. Tape it to the leg.
Literally.
Just go, bro. Like, come on. Tape it to the leg. Get the ace band. Just wrap it around a couple times.
My God, that sounds so painful. You better shave your leg before you do that, or taking it off. You're like, oh my God.
Coach, listen to me. Listen to me, Coach. You're usually telling me what to do. Listen to me, Coach. I'm telling you this. He's playing. It's a great. He's not. Listen, Jordan Love ain't a mamby-pamby. He's playing. He's taping up the groin. He's playing. Now, Coach, I almost bailed out of this, but I'm telling you why I didn't bail out. Definitely the over. I have 48.5 points. What do you have?
Okay, I have 48.5. Yeah, that's what I have right now currently.
Definitely the over. Definitely the over. Now, I'm going to tell you why I didn't bail out on a winner here, because I'll tell you why. The Packers are 3.5 point underdog. Is that your latest?
Correct. Line? Yeah, they're getting 3.5.
Bro, I'm sorry. I can't. I'm taking 3.5 points at Lambeau. It's Lambeau, bro. Like, it's Lambeau. The Packers underdogs, Lambeau. It's going to be cold. The weather's starting to turn. I cannot bet against the Packers at Lambeau Field.
Well, we have seen somewhat eye to eye so far. This one, it's me
good.
and you, toe to toe, face to face. I'm looking at you, Vince Russo, and I'm telling you, you're wrong.
He's not
the Lions. This is the best team in the NFL. This is the best team in all the league. There's nobody better. You got Dan Campbell after every single game saying, gentlemen, boys, we can go farther and farther and farther. You're giving game balls to kickers. That's how hardcore the Detroit Lions truly are. Yeah. They scored 52 points, and their quarterback threw for
86
check my notes.
86
yards.
86.
I've never seen that line in my life.
Insane.
3 touchdowns, too.
Yeah,
they're all like 5-yard touchdowns.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Lions. I will probably buy it down to 3, as I just said. And probably lay a minus 125 because that field goal, it's amazing how many times that half a point matters in the NFL. The NFL.
Now,
so I'm going to take the Lions.
I want to make one thing perfectly clear to producer man who I know is watching.
Always.
I know is watching. This is clearly a head-to-head coach. If I win this, I want graphics. I know you could do a thing, Coach, where you could see confetti fall. I want the confetti falling, Coach.
Okay.
I want the whole shebang.
Okay. So on Monday's show,
do you think Jordan Love's going to play?
I do. I think it's too big of a game.
Wrap it up against the side of his leg. He's good to go. Good to go. Wrap it up.
I'm going to have that image in my head for the entire week now. We're like,
Vince! Coach, I'll tell you one thing he doesn't want to do.
What?
You don't want to put Ben Gay on it. Don't go down there. Listen, Jordan, don't go anywhere near the area. Coach, that happened to me one time.
Oh, my God.
Don't go anywhere near the area with Ben Gay.
Coach, well, you were probably sore from winning the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah. Has that ever happened to you?
Where I put certain Ben Gay or sports cream in places they shouldn't have been?
Or it's gotten there by accident?
Yes, yes, and it's
Coach,
the worst.
coach.
It's the worst. The
This
worst.
must have happened to me. I swear to you, coach. I must have been about 15. I remember it to this day. I don't even keep a bottle of Bengay in the bathroom. I don't keep it anywhere in the vicinity.
It's the
Oh, it's
worst.
the wor
It is
you
the
oh,
worst.
coach,
Oh,
it's the worst.
the worst pain I ever had, and we'll wrap it up, and you guys can catch us over on backstage. Is I was in one of the Royal Rumbles I was in, and Jericho and Edge thought it'd be funny to chop me 37 times during the Royal Rumble because Michael Hayes is like, you guys just fiddle around over there while we're doing all the big spots.
Yeah,
You know, how Michael Hayes talks. Just
yeah,
fiddle around over there.
yeah.
And so Jericho and Edge were like, oh, let's just get Coach. And so they literally just chopped. I get back to the shower and I'm feeling good about myself. I lasted 37 minutes. Now, part of it might
Oh,
have been like
im
hanging on the bottom rope, but hey,
impressive, coach. Impressive.
37.
I
Thank
don't
you.
care. I don't care what you were hanging on to. Freaking impressive.
Thank you. 37 minutes.
Yes.
There was
Yeah,
only 5 guys left when I got eradicated.
yeah.
But I get back and you don't think about it and you let the shower hit your chest.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Vince, it was the worst. It was
oh,
one of the worst pains in my life.
yes,
And I
yeah.
screamed and somebody came running in like they thought somebody was either having a fight or in serious pain or had fallen in the shower and I was like all three. Like all three I was fighting with myself. Oh, it was the worst.
Coach,
The
did
worst.
were you always on the receiving end of you're okay, you're in our world now, so we're gonna show you what were you always on the receiving end of that BS?
Well, I was, but I will say this. My mouth brought a lot of it on myself. So, because I'll
Uh,
never forget one
uh,
of those Royal Rumble meetings that we're in. And for people who don't know, like all 30 guys go into a room at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Michael Hayes is the brain behind the entire match. They work on it for months and months and months. And so, Hardcore Holly is probably one of the most dangerous and volatile human beings that
yes,
God has ever created.
yes.
And for some reason, he liked me. He could be a double-edged sword, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we're sitting right next to each other in the room, and he was like the third to go in, and then he got eliminated pretty quickly. So Michael says, so I haven't even gone in yet, like on the paper.
Yeah.
And Michael says, all right, anybody that's in and out, you guys are free to leave. And so I don't even look at him. I just said, hey, yeah, hardcore, step, just like that.
Oh, bro.
He stands up and he kicks me toe first right in the side of the thigh. And I'm sitting on the
Oh,
ground, so the legs are straight out. And so
yeah.
he kicked me as hard as he could. I kid you not, at about 6 o'clock, I didn't know if I was going to be able to participate in the Royal Rumble because I couldn't walk. It was that painful.
Yeah, oh god.
That pain. And he didn't, he kicked me and just kept walking. There are dudes like him, Brock Lesnar, that are scary, different kinds of human beings.
Oh god, yeah. Oh god, yeah. Yeah.
And I can't even believe that I survived all that. And they, yeah, we like you, coach. Great. I love that you like. And Brock
Yeah.
Lesnar, I just heard Cody Rhodes talking about him on an interview, and he's like, I hate to burst all your bubbles, but he's the most professional person out there to work with, which I think surprises a lot of people. I really do.
Yeah,
I really do.
coach, I hate to break the news. Brock
Oh no.
Lesnar wanted to beat me up at one point too, bro. And
Oh
I've
yeah.
and I've never met the dude. I've never met the dude, and he was gunning for me. Brock Lesnar.
I would not feel good about. I'm all kidding aside. I would not feel good about
We're
that.
gonna tease that for next show.
Yeah. All right.
I'm
That's
gonna
gonna
tell you
do it.
yeah, let me real quickly, coach,
Yeah.
because you'll get a kick out of this. Two things I was on the receiving end of many times. Real Ric Flair chops. You talk about the red chest, bro. Like
Correct. And he
I
pushed
used
the shoulder back too.
bro. And a lot of times I experience the Scott Steiner thumb up the cooler, up the, thumb up my cooler. Anytime I
How
ever
did that
get,
ever become a thing for him?
oh, bro.
I don't know. I saw him in Atlantic City about 4 months ago, still doing the circuit. I go, "What are you doing these days, Scott?" Same shit, same shit. I'm like, "Oh my
He's the
god,
best. He's
I'm
the best.
signing 8x10s for 30 years.
The
No, thank
best.
you.
The
No,
best.
thank you."
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for this side of the Coach and Bro Show. You get anything It could be anything on this side. But do not forget, subscribe to Backstage Pass right here at Sportskeeda.com, part of our Patreon page. You get all of our wrestling content. And you see all of our shorts and reels all over social media. It's better discussion than anybody else out there. So jump on over and watch us on Backstage Pass.